Welcome to Germany vs. USA, and today we're going to talk about bread.
So, if you've been to the United States, or you heard of people who have been to the United States, you will probably have heard them complaining about bread. I brought flour from Germany, like a Brotbackmischung, so like just a package of things, and I baked my own bread.
He did. Alex has been complaining about American bread for years now.
I mean, the thing is, like, you can get really good bread here in the United States. It's just that you have to dig a little deeper. You have to pay more. They're more expensive, and you have to look a little bit further in order to get good bread.
You do. I mean, in Germany, you're going to have a good baker, like
Every corner.
Every corner. I mean, you really are. And I think a lot of it has to do with like the way a lot of Germans get breakfast when they go in. I mean, they'll go into a bakery just like they always have, and you'll get like really good bread or like a brotchen, and you can do like some breakfast meats, or just do like a brotchen with some butter or cream cheese. Really, really good. Here, people don't really do breakfast that way. I mean, you have like Pandora or I don't know what else. Like, I mean, you just don't really do a lot of like bakery stops. I mean, we have a company in town here called Bread and Company, and they make really good bread. Whole Foods has good bread.
Trader
Joe's has some good bread, but on like the larger scale, you're not going to have bakeries every block like you do in Germany.
And I think it's for a couple of reasons. We consume our bread in a different way. We often use lunch meats on there, so the bread is like it's not a substitute for like a meal. It's just the main meal can be the bread. If you have like a classic German dinner, Abendbrot, I mean, often people will cook, but you will often have like bread and then lunch meats on there. And then the other thing is we have a whole bunch of different types of grains that actually grow in Germany as well. What do you have? You have wheat. You have spelt, right?
Yeah.
You have rye. Those are all types of grain that grow in Germany, and we use them a lot. And then the other thing is the job of a baker. It's a 3-year apprenticeship, and it's really a craft job. It's a very intense job.
And when Alex says that, like, it's very much so like the old school, like apprenticeship, where
artisan, I guess.
Right? Yeah, you have to go and you follow a master baker for over 3 years, and then you have to apply to get like your own certification, and then you can open up your own bakery. So.
Right, to get like the Meister. Yeah, it's a very I guess intense process. But yeah, and that's why I guess we have really good breads and good Brötchen. Yeah, and in the States you got to dig for it a little bit longer. But there are a lot of European bakeries out here. There are a lot of German bakeries out there where you can get good quality bread.
I had a mouthful of bread. This is excellent, though. I was not here this morning when Alex cooked this, but when I walked into the studio, it smelled really, really good.
Yeah, and it was very easy to. It was literally just the Brotbackmischung, like the mix of like different wheats and flour. I just add a little bit of warm water, let it sit for half an hour, and then I put it in the oven, and that's basically it.
One thing I wanted to mention, too, is in the U.S., we do not eat nearly the amount of dark bread that you do in Germany. I think there's another thing that why bakers are so common, because like we'll have our wheat bread, and a lot of people, like you'll see like white bread, like very processed, just here it is, buy it at the grocery store, but and you have different types of dark bread that are just more common in everyday life, where dark bread here is more like special occasion, like or fancy restaurant,
or
right.
And also in the United States, people will eat. I guess you might have the sandwich that the kids will take to school is usually the peanut butter jelly sandwich, right? So that's on a white toast that is usually not toasted, right?
It depends, but yeah, not toasted.
Not toasted. And often the crust is cut off, and that's another interesting thing. Americans don't really like to eat the crust, right?
Yeah, especially children. You'll see children want to like cut the crust off. Yeah,
It's so funny. To me, that's a stereotypical thing for Americans. That when you watch, I remember in Breaking Bad, that Walter White would always cut off the crust of
Yeah,
the sandwiches.
yeah, he would.
Yeah, and so that's super interesting that the Americans don't really.
Well,
a lot of Americans don't like the crust.
Yeah, I mean, your crust too here, like you can take like this bread, and I mean, this is just really cold for some reason.
It wasn't the fridge.
Okay. But like, yeah, the crust on this is not nearly as thick
Right.
as you're going to have on this bread.
And this one, I mean, this crust is fine. You can kind of tell how it's a little harder, but people, like German people, like it really hard and the inside very like soft, I guess. Then another thing that you will come across in the U.S. and you will, we have bagels in Germany as well, but in the U.S. people, the selection of bagels is just bigger, right?
Yeah, people eat a lot more bagels or bagels.
Bagels. If you go to Michigan.
But bagels are really good here, but you don't really see them as much in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in a bakery, I can't even remember. I think we're in Freiburg. And I walked into this bakery, and so I was just kind of looking around, and they had, a whole bunch of breads, and then they had the American, and it was a donut. And I was like, well, I'll take one of those, please. Little on German and American bread. We're going to put a bread recipe, a Broten recipe, in the comments. Mm-hmm. We'd love to have some of your recipes, so put them in there. Y'all take it easy.
Wiedersehen.
Pack it up, son, bring it on home. Drag your feet and hang your head all you want.
Also this week, we broke 25,000 subscribers.
And since our 20,000 subscriber celebration did not go exactly as planned, we're going to keep it simple this time.
Shot of bourbon. Jim is making me drink bourbon.
Well, it is 7:30 in the morning.
Just have a sip.
Sweet nectar.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, folks.
Cheers.
To the next 25,000. Really want me to take the entire thing, huh?
Yes. Teamwork, Alex. There we go. And since you didn't do it all at once, you get a third shot.
No.
It's right in the fillet in my stomach.
Now I get the goosebumps. Look at that. I get goosebumps. I'm drinking bourbon.
Oh, God.